Hello there, great person. Welcome to my live reading of the prologue of the Wheel of Time. I've never done a live reading before, um, and I don't really know how to do it because I'm just reading it. So I've seen it has paragraphs. I will just read the paragraph, tell you my thoughts, read the paragraph, tell you my thoughts, and so on and so on. Hope you like that. I don't know how to do this. Might work, might not work. If it doesn't work, I'm sorry for wasting your time, but yeah, let's just get into that. So yeah, I can only do the prologue because it's posted online. It's free, so I will just read it. I will put it up here on the screen and I will read it. I will tell you my thoughts, and I hope you can excuse my bad English reading. I mean, I'm not that bad in English, but and yeah, well, just see how it goes. I know it's about the dragon when he uh, does the seppuku act. I know that much, so it's nothing new. But yeah, I someone suggested it. Shout outs to you. I'm sorry. I missed the name, but I'm very many thanks to you, and I will yeah I will just see how I like the writing style. So let's just get into this and have some fun. If you like this, consider like subscribing. Yeah, a bit shameless self-advertisement here, and now let's just get into that after that is done. So I read it on. I'm reading it on the blog, so it's free, and yeah. So oh yeah, there's the cover, whatever. So prologue, a Dragonmount. So Dragonmount is, I think, it has something to do with the acid. I know that, but yeah. So the palace still shook occasionally as the earth rumbled in memory, groaned as if it would deny what had happened. Interesting. Bars of sunlight cast through rents in the walls made motes of dust glitter where they yet hung in the air. Where they no, where they yet hung in the air. Scorch marks marred the walls, the floors, the ceilings. Broad black smears crossed the blistered panes and gilt of once bright murals. I love murals. Suit overlaying crumbling friezes of men and animals which seemed to have attempted to walk before the madness grew quiet. The dead lay everywhere. Men and women and children struck down in attempted flight by the lightnings that had flashed down every corridor, or seized by the fires that had stalked them, or sunken into stone of the palace, the stones that had flown and soared, almost alive, before stillness came again. Okay. In odd counterpoint, colorful tapestries and paintings, masterworks all hung undisturbed except where bulging walls had pushed them awry. Finely carved furnishings, inlaid with ivory and gold, stood untouched except where rippling floors had toppled them. The mind twisting had struck at the core, ignoring peripheral things. Okay. That's bad. I mean, so a palace that is completely destroyed by the one power, as far as I understand. I mean, quite interesting that they have several elements here. So lightning is like air, fire is like fire. Sorry, fire. Yeah, and this is like the stone. So what is left is water. They don't have water here, don't they? Yeah, well, brag. I don't know if this means there are these, like, there's mud. Might be mud. I don't know. But yeah, so everyone gone. Everyone struck down. I really like that the people are gone, but the artifacts they possessed are still there. So like the myth prevails and the pictures, and I mean that's interesting. So also means, because I just watched this break, the Manethrin story, the X-rays, second X-rays. Um, it's again like it's just one generation that is gone, but others can follow because the myth is still intact, and there will be others that come after this, even though this is accepted tragic. And yeah, wow. And there he is. I think that's the dragon guy. Lews Therin Telamon wandered the palace, deftly keeping his balance when the earth heaved. Ilyena, my love, where are you? Okay, I don't think. Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember. It was in the breaking, the X-ray one. He ended her. The edge of his pale grey cloak trailed through blood as he stepped across the body of a woman, her golden hair beauty marred by the horror of her last moments, her still open eyes frozen in disbelief. Where are you, my wife? Where is everyone hiding? Yeah, denial. I mean, either it's that the bodies got turned into dust and that's why he doesn't find that many that he can't find that many, or he's in complete denial. But yeah, so they were beautiful people in that castle palace, and they are now gone, and they did not expect it. I mean, I know what happened. That I mean, not exactly. That's why I'm reading this, but I know that he did it. Um, yeah, that's imagine that randomly being backstabbed by someone you love, or someone who's dear to you, or someone you drink coffee with every day, even though they probably don't have coffee. Yeah. Where is everyone hiding? Yeah. Hiding forever. His eyes caught his own reflection in a mirror hanging askew from bubbled marble. Again, this rich, the rich surroundings. His clothes had been regal once, in grey and scarlet and gold. Now they finely woven cloth, brought by merchants from across the world sea. World sea? Interesting. Was torn and dirty, thick with the same dust that covered his hair and skin. For a moment he fingered the symbol on his cloak, a circle half white and half black. The color separated by a sinuous line. I'm sorry for that word pronunciation. It meant something, that symbol, but the embroidered circle could not hold his attention long. He gazed at his own image still as much wonder. A tall man just into his middle years, handsome once, but now with hair already more white than brown, and a face lined by strain and worry, dark eyes that had seen too much. Lews Therin began to chuckle, then threw back his head. His laughter echoed down the liveless halls. Yeah, that sounds like PTSD a bit. So there is a world sea like ours. I mean, we have a world sea. So I've heard that this is our world, but a different cycle. So I don't know how the cycles start and end. Like, is it a new dimension is born, or is it like the Earth and they just change the surface? You know what I mean? It's hard to describe. So it might be the same sea we have, the great seas. The Pacific, Atlantic, and Indic. Those three. That might be the world sea. And his symbol is again like the Ouroboros wheel, black and white, and they are separated by a sinuous line. So a sign, like a scribble line. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I wonder whether we will see that symbol in the show. Um, and as well the fact that his hair had turned white. I don't know if it has been white before, but I've heard of a case. A teacher of mine told me, and he was at a military school, and there was this guy who was a fighter pilot. So the first time that guy flew in a fighter jet, or I think for 30 minutes or an hour, they do their training, the first real time. And my teacher said he met him in the morning. He sat there, he was a normal young man. Then he went to fly. When he came back, his hair was white. So it's like this stress and hardship that literally can apparently turn you white haired. So yeah, he here seems to be absolutely devastated by whatever happened, which I don't know a lot about, and I will not speculate. And yeah, he's looking for his wife, and that's unfortunate because yeah. Elena, my love, come to me, my wife. You must see this. I think she saw before she. Behind him, the air rippled, shimmered, solidified into a man who looked around, his mouth twisting briefly with distaste. Not so tall as Lews Therin, he was clothed all in black, save for the snow-white lace at his throat and the silver work on the turned-down tops of his tight-high boots. Stepped carefully, handling his cloak fastidiously to avoid brushing the dead. Floor trembled with aftershocks, but his attention was fixed on the man staring into the mirror and laughing. Oh yeah, he was laughing. I already forgot that. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I don't know who that is. He seems ominous. Can't say more than that. Lord of the morning, he said, I have come for you. Lord of the morning. Is there a Lord of the evening as well? The laughter cut off as if it had never been, and Lews Therin turned, seeming unsurprised. Ah, a guest. Have you the voice, stranger? It will soon be time for the singing. And here all are welcome to take part. Elena, my love, we have a guest. Elena, where are you? Yeah. So he's completely snapped. The black-clad man's eyes widened, darted to the body of the golden-haired woman, then back to Lews Therin. Titan, take you. Does the taint already have you so far in its grip? Shaitan, take you. The taint. Yeah, that might be the corruption. That name, Shy. Lews Therin shuddered and raised a hand as thought to ward off something. Oh, as though to ward off something. You mustn't say that name, it's dangerous. It's that Dark One's name, probably. So you remember that much at least. Dangerous for you, fool, not for me. What else do you remember? Remember, you light-blinded idiot. Why is he so rude? I will let it end with you swaddled in unawareness. Remember. Remember? For a moment, Lews Therin stared at his raised hand, fascinated by the patterns of grime. Then he wiped his hand on his even dirtier coat and turned his attention back to the other man. Who are you? What do you want? How can you teleport? Or was it like an invisibility spell? One of those two, I'm pretty sure. The black-clad man drew himself up arrogantly. Once I was called Elan Morin Tedronai, but now I am called Richard. Betrayer of hope. It was a whisper from Lews Therin. Memory stirred, but he turned his head, shying away from it. Betrayer of hope. What does that mean? What might that mean? I don't know. I will find out. So you do remember some things. Yes, betrayer of hope. So have men named me, just as they named you dragon. But unlike you, I embraced the name. They gave me the name to revile me, but I will yet make them kneel and worship it. What will you do with your name? After this day, men will call you Kinslayer. What will you do with that? Names, yeah? And dragon is quite the powerful name, actually. Dragon is one of the oldest symbols for danger there is. Yeah. Yeah, what will you do with your name? What will you use it for? And with name is like perhaps he means like your true nature is. Your true nature is, what is it really? Your name is Dragon, what is your true nature? What will you do? And the Kinslayer, yeah. Lews Therin frowned down the ruined hall. Elena should be here to offer a guest welcome. He murmured absently, then raised his voice. Elena, where are you? The floor shook. The golden-haired woman's body shifted as if in answer to his call. His eyes did not see her. Oh. Oh, yeah. I suspected it a bit, but I didn't guess it out loud, so yeah, I did not really see it coming. That was his wife. I thought it was just a aristocratic woman that was there. Yeah, that's so he's still under some kind of spell. Elan, or the madness. Elan Morin grimaced. Look at you, he said scornfully. Once you stood first among the servants. Once you wore the ring of Temurlin and sat in the high seat. Once you summoned the 9 rods of dominion. I will. I mean. I may. I will. I'm sure that I will know what this is in the end. Hopefully. Now look at you, a pitiful, shattered wretch. But it is not enough. You humbled me in the hall of servants. You defeated me at the gates of Paradisen. But I am the greater now. I will not let you die without knowing that. When you die, your last thought will be the full knowledge of your defeat, of you, how complete and utter it is, if I let you die. Yeah. So he's definitely a Richard. Once you stood first among the servants. I will not comment on the other stuff because I'm sure we'll get to know it down the line, but servants. So he's an Aes Sedai. I don't know if they were already Aes Sedai then or if it was just the one power users and the women then called themselves Aes Sedai, or I don't know, but they are servants of something. Beauty of the light. I mean, because I know some believers are there that believe in some light, like may the light bless you or light bless you, something they say that might be the light that they are servants to. So I cannot imagine what is keeping Ilyana. She will give me the rough side of her tongue if she thinks I have been hiding a guess from her. I hope you enjoy conversation, for she surely does. Be forewarned. Ilyana will ask you so many questions you may end up telling her everything you know. Oh well. Great character building here as well. That's, someone who really wants to know stuff. I mean, that alone makes me like Ilyana, even though she's on the floor. And we will probably never see her in action ever. Tossing back his black cloak, Elan Morin flexed his hands. A pity for you, he mused, that one of your sisters is not here. I was never very skilled at healing, and I follow a different power now, but even one of them could only give you a few lucid minutes if you did not destroy her first. What I can do will serve as well for my purposes. His sudden smile was cruel. But I fear Shaitan's healing is different from the sort you know. Be healed, Lews Therin. He extended his hands, and the light dimmed as if a shadow had been laid across the sun. Oh, so dark healing. Dark healing. What might that mean? Dark healing. What does it do? What would dark healing do? It's not corruption. It's... I don't actually know. But that is something I will look out for later. So when I continue my journey here. Pain blazed in Lews Therin, and he screamed a scream that had come from his depth. A scream he couldn't stop. Fire seared his marrow. Acid rushed along his veins. He toppled backwards, crashing into the marble floor. His head struck the stone and rebounded. His heart pounded, trying to beat its way out of his chest. And every pulse gushed new flame through him, helplessly convulsed, stretching his skull, a sphere of purest agony on the point of bursting. His hoarse screams reverberated through the palace. Ouch. Slowly, ever so slowly, the pain receded. The outflowing seemed to take 1,000 years and left him twitching weakly, sucking breath through a raw throat. Another 1,000 years seemed to pass before he could manage to heave himself over muscles like jellyfish, chalkily push himself up on hands and knees. His eyes fell on the golden-haired woman, and the scream that was ripped out of him dwarfed every sound he had made before. Tottering, almost failing, he scrambled brokenly across the floor to her. It took every bit of his strength to pull her up into his arms. His hands shook as he smoothed her hair back from her staring face. Yeah. If that is shot ever in the show, that will be eerie. They can make her fierce like that. Yeah. Ooh. Ilyana, light, help me, Ilyana. His body curved around hers protectively as sobs. The full-throated cries of a man who had nothing left to live for. Ilyana, no, no. So he has no children? So he has no children. And she was his world. Reminds me of when Superman said it. She was my world, you know? You can have her back, Kinslayer. The great Lord of the Dark can make her live again if you will serve him, if you will serve me. Yeah, what is that Richard doing there? Lews Therin raised his head and the black-clad man took an involuntary step back from the gaze. 10 years, betrayer. Lews Therin said softly, the soft son of steel being barred. 10 years your foul masters wrecked the world, and now this, I will. 10 years is quite a long time, but not as long as 1,000 years after the breaking wars. 10 years, you pitiful fool. This war's not lasted 10 years, but since the beginning of time. Yeah. So it's the Dark One seems to be this shine thing seems to be quite ancient and quite persistent in poking its head up. You and I have fought 1,000 battles with the turning of the wheel, 1,000 times 1,000, and we will fight until time dies and the shadow is triumphant. Yeah, we heard it in the last episode. It wants to destroy the wheel. Shadow wants to destroy the wheel. He finished in a shout with a raised fist, and it was Lews Therin's turn to pull back, breath catching at the glow in the Freya's eyes. Yeah, he's mad. Both are mad. Carefully, Lews Therin laid Elena down, fingers gently brushing her hair. Tears brought his vision as he stood there, but his voice was iced iron. For what else you have done, there can be no forgiveness, betrayer. But for Elena's death, I will destroy you beyond anything your master can repair. Prepare to be boarded. No, sorry. Yeah, why? I mean, it's like his. It's Shaitan's. Yeah, there he is. Shaitan. It's his fault, but yeah. Remember your futile attack on the great Lord of the Dark. Remember his counterstroke. Remember, even now the 100 companions are tearing the world apart, yeah. And every day 100 men more join them. What hence slew Elena's Sunhair, Kingslayer, not mine. Oh, Sunhair because she's blonde. Was she blonde? I think she was blonde. Not mine, not mine. What hand struck down every life that bore a drop of your blood? Everyone who loved you, everyone you loved. Not mine, Kinslayer, not mine. Remember and know the price of opposing Shaitan. Yeah? That's what you get when you try to fight the dark. You may pay a price that is very terrible. Sudden sweat made tracks down Lews Therin's face through the dust and dirt. He remembered a cloudy memory like a dream of a dream, but he knew it true. His howl beat at the walls, the howl of a man who had discovered his soul damned by his own hand, and he clawed at his face as if to tear away the sight of what he had done. Everything he looked, his eyes found the... I'm sorry. Everywhere he looked, his eyes found the dead, they were broken or burned, or half consumed by stone. Everywhere lay lifeless faces he knew, faces he loved, old servants and friends of his childhood, faithful companions through the long years of battle, and his children. Yeah, that stings probably more. Why did he not lead with the children though? I mean, it's more of a punch this way for me at least, because I didn't know that he had children, and now I know it by him discovering them. You know, it's actually quite nicely written. His own sons and daughters sprawled like broken dolls, played still for him. Wow, that's harsh. And what a way to word it. All slain by his hand. His children's faces accursed him, blank eyes asking why, and his tears were no answer. The betrayer's laughter flocked him, drowned out his howls. He could not bear the faces, the pain. He could not bear to remain any longer. Desperately, he reached out to the true source, to tainted side in, and he traveled. Okay, so they can teleport. Or he could. That's interesting. The land around him was flat and empty. A river flowed nearby, straight and broad, but he could sense there were no people within 100 leagues. He was alone as a man could be while still alive, yet he could not escape memory. The eyes pursued him through the endless caverns of his mind. He could not hide from them his children's eyes, Elena's eyes. Tears glistened on his cheeks as he turned his face to the sky. Yeah, and he will, of course, he blames himself. I mean, what else could make, what else could someone make you do that it would be worse than this? I don't know. I would have to think about that, and I don't want to think about that, so I will not think about that. Light, forgive me. He did not believe it could come forgiveness. Not for what he had done, but he shouted to the sky anyway, begged for what he could not believe he could receive. Light, forgive me. Forgiveness is, I mean, who is supposed to forgive him? The world? The light god? I don't know, but yeah, it's like, in the end, he has to forgive himself, and he can't do that, obviously. So, he was still touching Sidene, the male half of the power that drove the universe, that turned the wheel of time, and he could feel the only taint fouling its surface, the taint of the shadow's counterstroke, the taint that doomed the world. Okay. So it drives the universe. It's the essence, so it's the essence of time, or entropy. It's the one power is entropy, the power of change. Power of change. So the one power is the power of change. That's cool. Power of change. Because there's stillness and there's change. And yeah, in this story it seems that there is no stillness, that there's always change because the wheel keeps turning. Because in his pride he had believed that man could match the Creator, could mend what the Creator had made and they had broken. In his pride he had believed. Okay, the Creator, I don't know who that is. Could mend what the Creator had made. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like the Tower of Babel. Babel's Tower. You know, this tower they built because they wanted to rival God. Yeah. So he thought that he had a better perspective on the world than everyone else, and the God he believed in, and he stroke, and he paid dearly. Yeah. That's very interesting. He drew on the true source deeply, and still more deeply, like a man dying of thirst. Quickly he had drawn more of the one power than he could channel unaided. His skin felt as if it were aflame. Straining, he forced himself to draw more, try to draw it all. Yeah, that's the fire thing we saw from the queen in Menethrin. Light, forgive me, Elena. The air turned to fire, the fire to light, liquefied. The bolt that struck from the heavens would have seared and blinded any eye that glimpsed it, even for an instant. From the heavens it came, blazed through Lews Therin, Telamon, bored into the bowels of the earth. Stone turned to vapor at its touch. The earth thrashed and quivered like a living thing in agony. Only a heartbeat did the shining bar exist, connecting ground and sky. But even after it vanished, the earth yet heaved like the sea in a storm. Molten rock fountain 500 feet into the air, and the groaning ground rose, thrusting the burning spray ever upward, ever higher. From north and south, from east and west, the wind howled in, snapping trees like twigs, creaking and blowing as if to aid the growing mountain ever skyward. Ever skyward. Yeah, it's the volcano. You told me in the comments. That's very, very powerful. Very great description. At last the wind died, the earth stilled to trembling mutters. Of Lews Therin Thalmon no sign remained. Where he had stood the mountain now rose, miles into the sky, molten lava still gushing from its broken peak. A broad straight river had been pushed into a curve away from the mountain, and there it split to form a long island in the midst. The shadow of the mountain almost reached the island. It lay dark across the land like the ominous hand of prophecy. For a time, the dull, testing rumbles of the earth were the only sound. On the island, the air shimmered and coalesced. A black-clad man stood staring at the fiery mountain rising out of the plain, his face twisted in rage and contempt. You cannot escape so easily, dragon. It is not done between us. It will not be done until the end of time. So he'll be back. Is he the eyeless guy? Is he the Shadow King? The Shadow Man? The One Shadow? I mean, he's not the One Shadow. Seems to be a different entity, but let's see where he is and who he is. Then he was gone, and the mountain and the island stood alone, waiting. And the shadow fell upon the land, and the world was riven stone from stone. The oceans fled, and the mountains were swallowed up, and the nations were scattered to the 8 corners of the world. The moon was as blood, and the sun was as ashes. The seas boiled, and the living envied the dead. All was shattered, and all but memory lost, and one memory above all others, of him who brought the shadow and the breaking of the world, and him they named Dragon. Yeah. And it's quite striking that fire is the thing in the end. And it's what the dragon produces in legends, fire. So it's like this fiery power inside you that just goes rampant here in all men in this Seidan, the side, the male side. It's bursting out uncontrolled. So that's why everyone bursts into flames, because it's like a part of the dragon. And the one called dragon used the biggest part of the dragon, and with dragon here I mean the mythical figure, you know, this fire of destruction and rage, and that's what is now in the male side, and it is potentially in the female side, but wow. Oh, it goes. Yeah, it's a bit more. From Lews Therin Alta Komara, The Breaking of the World, also now in the 4th age. 4th age. Oh. Why? I thought we were in the 3rd. How does that work? I don't know. And it came to pass in those days, as it had come before, and would come again, that the dark lay heavy on the land, and weighed down the hearts of men, and the green things failed, and hope died. And men cried out to the Creator, saying, O light of the heavens, light of the world, let the promised one be born of the mountain, according to the prophecies, as he was in ages past and will be in ages to come. Let the prince of the morning sing to the land, that green things will grow in the valley, give forth lambs. Let the arm of the Lord of the dawn shelter us from the dark, and the great sword of justice defend us. Let the dragon ride again on the winds of time. Wow, okay. The cycle of the dragon, yeah, also known for that, okay. So, are we in that time in the story? I definitely like that the dragon is destruction and creation, which is more in line with what I know about the dragon as an archetype. I don't know a lot, but dragon as an archetype is destruction and creation. Fire is too. Fire is destruction and creation. I mean, fire is what burned our ancestors, and fire is what, yeah, the first tool we had. So, and the dragon used correctly produces green and nature and positivity, and the dragon corrupted by overcome by the world is the dragon that destroys the world and burns it down to the ground. Oh, yeah. So that was my blind reading. I hope it was watchable. I don't know. It is very interesting, quite interesting. I like the Wheel of Time idea a lot, and the cyclic idea, and so I know it's concluded, the series, and the books are concluded. And please don't tell me this, and I will not speculate on it again. But it's just a thought I want to know you I want you to know that I have. With this, there are two possibilities, and it's obvious. One is it's all a cycle, happens again and again and again and again, and the book will end with like the dawn of the first new age, and the cycle is going again, or it will be changed in the end in a way that will be interesting. Both things are both things have heavy meanings, but both things are different. So I wonder what the author and yeah wanted to go with. And I know he passed away before finishing it, and I think Brandon Sanderson finished it. So thanks to him already. I've not read Children of the Fog. I've got it in my my cupboard or on my shelf. I don't know. I will read it, but I'm currently reading Children of Dune. So yeah, if you like Dune, you can check out my introduction to Dune here. Everything from a blind trailer reaction to me reading and reviewing books of it. And yeah, so yeah, this is great story, great things here, and it's like I like this first chapter a lot. The prophecy parts read like something I once wrote for a fantasy book I was starting. But it is a completely different thing than this, you know. But it's like I love these prophecy, ancient, metaphorical, almost poetic, even though it is debatable whether mine was poetic, but this is poetic depictions of interesting ideas. I really do like that. And yeah, so I will read this book, of course, when I will read it when we are finished with the show, completely finished. Because I don't want to get spoiled. I wasn't really spoiled here. The only thing that I got spoiled on here a bit, and you saw my reaction to it now, so you see the reaction to that this is part of this world, is the teleportation. That's something, and this shadow cloak dude, don't know who he is. So yeah, those are the two things I did not know. The rest I didn't know and inferred already from the Amazon X-ray, so the Wheel of Time Origins episode 1. Anyway, this has been a 40 minutes video, and I'm very sorry. I hope I did not bore you with this, but you made it to the end. Thank you for at least listening to what I said and did. And yeah, hope you have a very great day and see you soon. Hopefully. Bye.